There are certain times where I feel like the game of football is revolutionized. Right, one of those times I remember was when Jose Mourinho, I think it was at Tottenham, a ball boy made a particularly great pass in to get the play moving again, and then all of a sudden it leads to this great counterattack. And I'm like, okay, now all of the ball boys at every match, if any manager worth their salt that's paying attention, are going to be coached up on exactly what to do in certain situations. Right, they might even have a little piece of paper that's given to them to dictate exactly how they're going to, if do we want to go fast? Do we want to slow it down? Maybe you've got one of the coaches on the bench that's sending freaking signs out to the ball boys around, on the different parts of the field to let them know, hey, we're going to want to hold the ball here, take a little longer to hand it to them, don't give them the counter, all that sort of stuff. Right? And I have uncovered things like what we're about to talk about before, and I have wondered why they don't happen more. Because what's going to color the conversation that we're having here today? The point of the game is to win. And the reason people make life-changing amounts of money compared to the people that don't is because they win. Coaches, players, freaking ball boys, I guess, apparently. You play to win the game. And there are certain things that you can do in the rule set in order to win. This is why I blame the institutions for flopping and not the players themselves most of the time. Sometimes the players really do deserve ridicule, right? But if the rules are set up in a way and the referees are set up in a way where flopping is incentivized in order to try to win the game, how are we supposed to tell somebody that's trying to win the World Cup for their country or trying to win a $20 million contract or trying to win a trophy that's going to pay him $1 million bonus? How are we supposed to tell that guy not to do everything he can to win the game when that's what you should be doing? That's what I want people on my team to be doing. And as such, they're going to have to change the rules around plays like this. Because this happened in Belgium, okay? It's not like some rinky-dink small league. This is Union Saint-Gilloise against Genk, right? This is two of the bigger, better teams in Belgium. You might recognize both of these teams' names from European competitions that we've talked about, even this season. Okay, they're playing a domestic match, and Genk is putting together a counterattack. It's not even a particularly dangerous one, right? And they're passing the ball around the back, and here's a little pass, and then all of a sudden another ball just arrives and gets in the way of the player that's trying to receive the pass, at which point Genk's players are incensed. Right? They're incredibly upset at what's just happened. What do you mean a ball has just been rolled onto the field? There's a minute left in this match. This is essentially the last build-up to get the ball forward for Genk to try and find an equalizer in this match. Right? They're incredibly incensed. They come running over, and it's obviously going to be a situation that takes a little time to sort out. Now, the camera crew looks for an angle to show you kind of what happened. And then at some point, the kit man gets given a red card. The Union Saint-Gilloise kit man gets given a red card by the referee. And he's sent off, and that's it. But here's the deeper lying point to all of this. Union Saint-Gilloise won the game. They were probably going to win the game anyways. So I'm not going to attribute their victory solely to the idea that this kit man rolled the ball on the field. And I have not been able to verify that this is, fully intentional. Maybe he tripped over the ball. Maybe, who knows what happened. I mean, the ball just squirted onto the field because somebody knocked something over and it hit the ball and it went out there, right? I don't know. There's no video footage of this. But what it looks like without that video footage is that the kit man has essentially taken the ball and just rolled it into the path of the counterattack, causing the game to be stopped and really killing the last minute. I mean, Genk's in possession here to build this up any way they want to, play a long ball forward, try and make something magic happen, right? And we've seen a lot of late magic recently, and it's football. Anything can happen. Why would you not do this in any important match? Because let's be honest, you're allowed a lot of guys on that bench. You are allowed a lot of guys on that bench. why not get a former semi-pro goalkeeper, a professional bowler, I don't know, somebody that can roll a ball accurately and well, and have them on your coaching staff as a kit man or something. And in a dire moment, roll the ball onto the field to try and stop something from happening. Why not? He's going to get a red card. Who cares? The red card's so unimportant it doesn't even pop up on the flash score, dude. Who cares? The guy got sent off. It's not going to affect your team at all because, in fact, that person is there specifically to do this job. Even if you don't explicitly say it, you've hired them for some other reason. You've hired them to do a different job. Even though you're not coming out and saying that's why they're there, it is why they're there. And with it being why they're there, once they do that job, they get sent off. Who cares? Right? Maybe you suspend them for a week, a couple matches. I don't know what the penalty is going to be for this. A month? Cool. I got 4 of these dudes on rotation. There is a loophole. This is a loophole in the rules of the game. There is no obvious way to stop teams from doing this. I mean, at a certain point, I would imagine you'd have to start docking points from the team. But that's only if you do it a lot of times. What happens if you just do it once or twice? Save the bullet for the Cup final. Save it for the World Cup final. Save it for the last, the other ism we're talking about today, right, is that incredibly close league. Save it for then. You know, you don't know you're going to need it. Maybe you win by a couple of goals. Maybe it doesn't matter. But if it's a close game and somebody's getting one of those moves down the side, how is this that much different than Giorgio Chiellini grabbing Saka by the scruff of his neck and just pulling him down? It's the coach's equivalent of doing that. It's just firing the golden bullet. And in my opinion, if you are a coach and you want to win a game, because you're getting paid to win, in the same way that you got to coach up the ball boys in your home turf, you should have some weird backup plan for this. I know. It's against the spirit of the game. How dare you American, for having such a reckless and brave and, dare I say, dashing and handsome idea. But seriously, the point is to win the game. And if the people creating the rules of the game don't create enough of an incentive for this sort of thing not to happen, I really don't see a reason not to do this. I really don't. I mean, there might be a moral reason. I know there are certain managers, obviously, that believe in the spirit of the game. And I also believe in the spirit of the game when it comes to the rules. I think the rules should honor the spirit of the game, that if every throw-in doesn't have to be taken from the exact spot the ball went out, because let's just freaking get the game going, right? And that's not really the point, right? Those sorts of different things about the spirit of the game. I'm on their team. I believe in that. But there really is no rule against this. And if the United States is beating Brazil in the 85th minute at the World Cup in 2026, which honestly, the U.S. and Brazil both suck, so don't tell me that's not possible, and somebody for the U.S. does this, I'm happy. I'm encouraging it. Like, I'm genuinely going, that's a fantastic idea. Because what great coaches do in any sport, what a great coaching staff, what a great organization does in any sport is you find those little loopholes. You innovate. The game never stays the same. And this innovation feels weird. It seems like a pretty useful one. If anybody's coming down that side of the field, you can just, oops, I fell. You can even try and make it look like an accident. Oh, oops, my bad. How'd that get there? No idea. That's crazy. Or is it?